coming to you from the European Utility Week. So this morning I'm speaking to Txetxu Arzuaga, who is a board member of the Prime Alliance. Txetxu, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
I was wondering if you could perhaps speak to me a little bit about the evolution of Prime over the last couple of years.
Okay, I think I would like to highlight that one of the most important things that has happened with Prime 1.4 was that in the beginning, when we were developing the technology, we were very focused on smart meter applications, But afterwards, we saw that, okay, it's more than smart metering, We wanted to develop and to deploy a multi-service network, not only for smart metering, but also for other applications. So I think that most of the evolution of the technology has taken it into account. So basically, I would like to highlight two important features of this new Prime 1.4 technology. On one hand, we have the robustness. I think that we have done a lot of deployments in the field. We already have nearly 20 million of meters already there, so we have learned a lot from the field. And we have seen that, okay, it was necessary to make some improvements in the robustness of our solution. So we come into the physical layer, we try to make this robustness and make the, a bit, we can say, more robust the technology against the noises.
Yes.
The second important innovation have to do with the throughput. We have done a lot of improvements in the throughput of the technology, because we will be able to not only to provide just the 120 kilobits per second as it is today. We will be able to provide up to 1 megabit per second. How we are going to do this? We are able to do this by extending the frequency band from the 40 kilohertz up to 500 kilohertz. So right now, Prime technology will be able to have up to 8 channels, not only the first channel as it was devised in the beginning. The most important thing is that we have designed this having in mind the 20 million of meters that are already in the field. So another important, we can say, characteristics of this evolution is that it needs to be compatible with the already installed meter base. So backwards compatibility has been taken into account since the beginning of the, of the new evolution of the Prime 1.4.
Okay. So a question that I do have then is, why is the increased capacity needed? Why is it necessary to be able to communicate so rapidly and have such broad bandwidth? Okay.
Basically, I will say that the needs of extra bandwidth comes from the need of more data. What we are seeing, in all the deployments that are taking place is that, for instance, right now, in the beginning, we wanted just to access the meter once a month, because we just wanted to get the data from the smart meters only for, for billing purposes. So just getting the amount of energy that has been consumed was more than enough, But right now what we see is that we need more data, and not only for billing purposes. We may need more data because we want to say, okay, maybe we can operate the low voltage grid gathering data from the smart meters. So in order to do so, we can say near real-time data. So in this way, you need more throughput and more stability in your networks. So basically, this is, I will say, one of the applications. There are other applications, like the information to the user, that they will also need certain nearly real-time data. So basically, we can say that the new applications are hungry of new data. So.
Okay, and therefore hungry for expanded bandwidth.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
One of the questions that, or one of the topics that is often raised when it comes to standards and communication is really the ability to be interoperable. How easily is this achieved?
Oh, you will see this quite easy. No, that's joking. Just kidding.
Right?
No, not at all. When people talk about interoperability, they have in mind another question. They have in mind interchangeability. They want to, okay, I rely on this vendor for the smart meter, I rely on this vendor of the data concentrator, and I will like, in case there are any kind of issue, I will like to change the product by another vendor without any issue at all.
Yeah.
Without not having to retest everything and all this stuff, So I will say that in order to assure interoperability, in Prime Alliance we have worked a lot, because it's not easy. You need to work a lot, and you need to do a lot of efforts in order to assure this interoperability. I will say that it is a 4-step process. First of all, you need to have a clear specification. In this case, in the case of Prime, we have the Prime 1.4 specification that specifies the physical layer, the MAC layer, but not only the power line communication itself. What we have seen in the Prime Alliance it is very important to have the end-to-end interoperability in the case of smart meter applications.
Yeah.
So not only you need to specify very well the power line communications, you also need to have a clear data model for the smart meters. And in this case, I would like to highlight the liaison that we have with DLMS Association. So we have specified a data model based on DLMS, so we assure that there is a semantic interoperability between the meter and the data concentrator. But not only that, we are also providing to all our members a specification of web services, so the data that is being gathered by data concentrator can be sent to the system. So the first step is just to have clear specifications, not only power line communication. But this is only the first thing.
And so basically along that entire chain.
End to end.
Okay.
Second step is that, okay, you need to test that. So we have inside the technical working group, we have a subgroup that it is called the certification task force. And this task force, one of the main roles they have is just to define a clear test set. And in order to do that, we rely also with the expertise of two companies that are Technalia and Kima, that are very well-known laboratories, DMV, and they are very well-known laboratories in assuring this interoperability, assuring this test. So we have a full set of documents that specify how you need to test everything. And this is the second step. You have the third step that has to do with with making the test. So also we need to provide to the laboratories the tools and the test and make some, a lot of work with them in order to assure that the test setup is properly done. And once you have all this, the vendors, as ZIV, are very happy to go there and just to certify the products. And I will say that this is not the last step. I think that when we discuss with our customers, the utilities, they always say, okay, I want interoperability. This is not for free. I always tell them, you need to work a little bit. So I think that it is also mandatory to have an extra effort in the utilities in order to have small laboratories, because they need to assure interoperability and maintain the interoperability. It's not something that, okay, I've got the Prime Alliance level and that's all,
Yeah.
You know that we make firmware upgrades, we make modifications, so it's very important that if there is a utility that relies on 3-4 vendors, that they have a small laboratory in-house in order to make simple tests, just to assure that when there is a new software release of any kind of vendor, you will be able to see that nothing in the system changed, and the system continues working. So as you can see, I was kidding when I was
saying it
saying
was an easy process.
it's an easy process, You need to spend a lot of time, a lot of efforts in order to make interoperability a reality.
So I believe that at your board meeting yesterday, one of the things that was discussed was the fact that you are wanting to ensure constant innovation and evolution.
Yeah.
What is going to be the focus for the next year?
Okay, I think that there will be 3 main focus. One important focus has to consolidate the Prime 1.4 installations, because most of these 20 million of smart meters have to do with Prime 1.36, that is the previous version. So I will say that focus and consolidate these new installations for the new standard. The second thing will be, we see a lot of possibilities in broadband power line communications. So I think that we are trying starting to investigate what we can do in this field. And the third thing is to say, okay, power line communications, we believe in power line communications. They are very, very important for us, but everything is not going to be only power line communications.
Yeah.
There will be other telecom that can be used in order to provide this always-on connectivity, like radio frequency, wireless technologies. So we have created a new task force that has to do with non-power line communications, and to see how we are going to interpret the power line communications with non-power line communications. So just to see what are the associations we need to liaison, or what are the technologies, how to solve the system, because this is the problem. The problem that our customers have is not the technology itself. They don't mind the technology, they just want to have the data of their systems in order to provide value. That's to say, in order to have the applications. Our job is to say, okay, have a very reliable multi-service network based on power line communications, and in case we need to complement the power line communication with any other technology, let's do it. Yeah. And let's put things easy to the customer. I think this is important because Prime Alliance is an organization that it is ruled by utilities. So they are not ruled by technologists. We are not making technology by technology. We like very much technology, but this is not the purpose. The purpose is to solve the problems and the issues of utilities. So power and communication is just like the first means to solve this issue. Yeah. You need more things in order to make it happen. Yeah,
because unfortunately the communication spectrum is not limited to just prime.
You cannot say, oh, prime. Okay, yes. We believe in prime, and I think it's wonderful power line communications, but there are more room to other technologies. And our utilities, that are the main tractors of the alliance, are telling us, okay guys, how we can, in case we need to do or to integrate a wireless technology, how we can this wireless technology live with Prime. So this is the purpose of the task force, because we want to provide, this is very important, end-to-end solution.
And completely seamless integration.
Yeah, seamless integration, but not for free.
In 4 easy steps.
In 4 easy steps, yes.
Txetxu, thank you so much. Unfortunately, it's all the time that we have for this morning. From European Utility Week, thanks so much for watching.